Why smart kids often feel isolated and lose their drive as adults. From an early age, some children are labeled as smart, gifted, or brilliant. What seems like a blessing at first can quietly turn into a trap as they grow older. Many of these once promising kids end up feeling disconnected, unmotivated, and unsure of their place in the world. On the surface, everything looks fine. They're capable, intelligent, and often admired for their quick minds. But beneath that polished image hides something heavier, a quiet sense of isolation, emptiness, and confusion. How does a child who seemed destined for greatness become an adult searching for direction? As children, we build our sense of self from the feedback we receive. When a child is constantly praised for being smart, they start to see intelligence not just as something they have, but as who they are. At first, that label feels good. It brings attention, pride, and confidence. But over time, it becomes an expectation. They begin to believe they must always be the smart one. The problem appears when life stops being easy. When challenges require real effort and persistence, that identity starts to crack. Because if being smart means everything should come naturally, then every struggle feels like proof of failure. Instead of thinking, "This is hard, I'll learn," they think, "If I were really smart, this wouldn't be hard at all." To protect that fragile identity, many of these kids learn to avoid situations where they might fail. They only do things they're already good at. They avoid challenges that could reveal weakness. They play it safe, not to learn but to maintain an image. Bit by bit, their world becomes smaller. They stop exploring, experimenting, and growing. They confuse safety with success. While others are out there failing, learning, and evolving, the gifted ones often stay stuck, comfortable but unfulfilled. They're not living, they're maintaining. When your value is tied to being exceptional, perfection becomes a constant demand. Every mistake feels dangerous. Every flaw feels unacceptable. You start believing that you must always perform, always know, always succeed, or else you lose your worth. That fear can be paralyzing. You procrastinate, abandon meaningful goals, or hide behind tasks that guarantee success. But underneath that control lies anxiety, the fear of being found out, of not living up to the myth others believe. And the harder you try to protect the image, the more distant you feel from your real self. When someone defines themselves by intellect alone, emotional connection often becomes difficult. Conversations feel shallow, social moments seem pointless, and relationships can feel exhausting. They observe people instead of engaging with them. They analyze emotions instead of feeling them. They simulate conversations in their minds instead of living them. When the loneliness grows too heavy, the ego steps in to defend. You're just different. It sounds comforting, almost noble, but it's actually another wall. You start believing that few people can understand you, that others are too superficial. That's not arrogance. It's protection. It's easier to feel superior than to admit you feel left out or unseen. This defensive superiority creates distance. It blocks the very thing you crave, connection. Real connection doesn't come from being impressive. It comes from being vulnerable, imperfect, and real. It grows from shared experiences, awkward moments, failures, laughter, growth. But when you cling to being the smart one, you don't let yourself be human. You can't truly connect when you're wearing armor. The first step toward healing is to understand that your worth isn't based on intelligence. It's based on your ability to grow. Your mind is powerful, yes, but it's not your identity. What defines you is your curiosity, your resilience, your willingness to keep going. Being brilliant means nothing if that brilliance becomes a cage. Growth requires humility, the courage to say, "I don't know yet, but I'll learn." It means allowing yourself to struggle, to fail, to start over, not as proof of weakness, but as proof of life. To truly move forward, you need to rebuild your identity, not around being smart, but around being a learner. Shift from "I must be the best" to "I want to get better." Embrace discomfort as a sign of progress. Let mistakes be evidence of effort, not inadequacy. Celebrate learning, not perfection. Say, "I don't know" without shame. Try things you might fail at. Show up not to impress, but to participate. When you stop hiding behind intellect, you begin to experience life again, fully, honestly, imperfectly. Your old identity said, "You matter because you succeed." Your new one says, "You matter because you're human." Being human means you'll doubt yourself, learn slowly, fall down, and rise again. It means you'll feel lost sometimes, and that's okay. Perfection doesn't create peace. Authenticity does. Freedom begins the moment you stop performing and start living. If you've spent your life trying to be the smartest person in the room, and now you feel disconnected, this is your invitation. Let go of the story. Stop trying to impress. Start being real. Because you don't need to be the smartest in the room. You just need to be you.